Alright, so I asked you in my community tab which topics you want me to make more videos of, and a lot of you mentioned revision. So I read many comments, revision, please do a video on revision. So this is why I'm doing this video right now. And if you have any other video suggestions, then just go to my community tab on YouTube and just let me know which topics you want to see more videos of. But right now, let's talk about revision. And I have some quotes, I have some videos that I will recommend you. So let's really talk through this whole topic. So by revising the past, you rid yourself of any effect it may have on your future. And I will explain why this is the case. I will explain how past and future are connected. So this is it will sound very conceptual first, but if you can connect to that, it will make a lot of sense and you will understand the power of revision. You will understand why Neville Goddard said, if there's one thing I want you to remember, if there's just one part of my teachings, he said it's revision. Because again, revision, extremely powerful. So again, we can rid ourselves of the effects that our past had. So revision is truly the key, which can be used to unlock the doors that have kept you trapped in a particular state. Be it transformed by the renewing of your mind. I will explain all of that. Dwelling on past irritations or hurts perpetuates them and creates a vicious cycle that serves to confirm these negative emotions. The circle can be broken by starting now to revise anything that you no longer wish to sustain in your world. Okay? So, past, right? If you think about the past right now, if you imagine things that happened yesterday, things that happened 2 years ago, when is that taking place? While you put your awareness on that, while you imagine, or like while you bring your awareness to what happened yesterday afternoon, whatever, when is that taking place? Right now. When you go into the future, right? What you want to do next week, or the friend you will meet tomorrow, or the event you will go to next week, the vacation in 1 month, and you put your awareness on that. You imagine that right now. When is it taking place? Right now. So that brings us over time more and more to the realization that in imagination and consciousness, everything is right now. In the 3D world, we are bound to the mind, to the senses that perceives time and space, and things are slow. But in actuality, everything exists right now. So what we do when we revise something is simply that we, in a sense, select another past. Don't shut this video off. It's very relevant, very important, right? It sounds very woo-woo-ish, but think about it, right? You have infinite futures to select from, right? You can imagine that you go to this vacation, to that vacation, that you meet this friend, that you go to this restaurant, that you go there, that you build this business, that you get this better job. So infinite futures. So there are also infinite paths that belong to you, but you were identified in a sense with one timeline, and that is what you think. Yes, yesterday this was said to me, or this person did this. But since you possess imagination, since you can utilize imagination, you could ask yourself, wait, what would have happened if this person actually said this? And since you can imagine that, this means that this was also an actual, experience that was right next to your experience, right? So, but the point that I try to make here is that by revision, we can disidentify with certain things and identify with other things. And since we do this in the now, it of course has an effect on what we then are going to project into the future, right? Because if, let's just say, someone grew up in a very poor and financial lacking household, okay, that's how they grew up with. So they revise it. Let's just say they revise it. They grew up always being surrounded by a lot of money. And they start to imagine that other things has happened in their past. When is that imagination taking place? Right now. When are they shifting their internal state? Right now. So they right now start to make a life a new state. And then that is going to be, projected into the future as well, because it's connected, right? Where the question is, where do you dwell within right now? But if you are too much identified with an unwanted past, you're identified with it, then you're continuously going to manifest it. But if you're going to revise it, you're basically disidentifying with that and bringing more wanted things in your awareness and disidentifying with the unwanted things, and then that is what you get, right? So again, that's why you rid yourself of any effect that the past might have still, because you're still identified with it. So revision simply means you disidentify with an unwanted past, and you make alive new things in the here now in your inner world. That's what it means. You disidentify with unwanted things in the past, and you identify with new things in the here now, right? So that's the key, right? And what it is, therefore, it's a renewing of the mind. It's a a radical internal realignment. That is what it does in the here and now. So yesterday this person said no to me. Yesterday this person, I had an argument with them. Let me revise that we had a wonderful conversation. I'm experiencing this. I'm imagining this. It happens right now. So right now my attitude towards that changes. And then tomorrow when I see this person again, they approach me completely differently. Right? That is revision. So dwelling on past irritations or hurts perpetuates them. Because you dwell on them, you're still identified with them. But if you start to put your attention away from them and start to dwell on things that you would have liked to have wanted instead, this is what you now start to identify with. And you break this cycle, right, by revision. And I included these 2 videos that I did, and I really would like you to watch them afterwards. These 2 videos, I will link them above. I will also link them in the video description, because in these 2 videos, I really went deep with examples, with even more quotes, with even greater explanations, right? This video should serve as a reminder. So check out these 2 videos, but we're not even done yet. So if, for instance, and this is an example from Neville, right? You had gone to an interview for a job that you truly wanted, but you later learned that someone else was hired, you can revise that news to make it conform to what you wish you had heard, right? So you were in a job interview, they said, no, sorry, we can't take you. But what you wanted that they say yes to you. So you can imagine that they actually said yes. Until that conviction grows. I have an own story where, like, I have many revision stories, many, even including the government and where things with, being speeding tickets and, things like that. But one that just sticked with me, this was my first revision instance, was when I called my barber, asked for an appointment. They said, no, sorry, we're fully booked out for the next 2 weeks. We're really sorry, but we can't give you any appointment. We're booked out. I put away the phone. I reimagined that conversation that just took place 1 minute ago. I reimagined that. They told me, yes, we do have spots. Yes, it looks good. Yes, we will call you back. Yes, we can make something possible for you. So I imagined hearing that. I imagined that this conversation went differently. Half an hour, 1 hour later, I got a call and they said, hey, we can put you in 2 days. Right? So that's revision. It was basically revision on the spot. And if you react by feeling depressed or assume any other negative attitude, you will then experience the same type of rejection in the future. Right? So if you take your cue from they said no to you, right? A job interview, they said no, the barber said no to you, and you then assume, you feel then depressed because of that. You take your cue from that. Like I always say, you take your cue from circumstances, then you will encounter more of that. Then you will just stay in that state, then nothing will really change. So the question may arise as to how, by representing others to ourselves as better than they really were, or mentally rewriting a letter to make it conform to our wish, or by revising the scene of an accident, the interview with an employee, so on, can change what seems to be an unchanged facts of the past, right? So how can this work, right? How can this work that something that just happened, that we experienced an hour ago, 2 days ago, 2 years ago, that we feel like, okay, this happened, how can it be that by rewriting that, by reimagining that in a different way, that this has an effect? And the answer is Neville's claim: imagining creates reality, right? What it makes, it can also unmake. So when something happened, you can reimagine it in a way, what would you like it to have happened, right? It is not only conservative, building a life from images supplied by memory, it is also creatively transformative, right? So through your imagination, by accepting new things to be true for you, therefore ridding yourself of the connection to an unwanted past, disidentifying from it, identifying with new things, you see new things in your future, right, that are going to be projected. But the question is, what is in the here and now alive within yourself? So revision, translated, what it means is, in a sense, reimagining something in a different light, in a different way, and therefore in the here and now being in a new attitude. I want to conclude this video again to direct you to those 2 videos. Please check them out. I go in way more detail with way more examples, with way more quotes. That's it for this video. That is revision, a reminder for you that you can revise your past. I did it also with some incidents. You don't have to. You can also focus on the future. But if you really notice you carry something with you that you want to disidentify with, how would you have liked it to have happened? Right? Go to that. But then ask yourself, oh, what would it be like if it actually would have happened this way? And then just imagine it like in another way, until that is what you start to connect with. But again, I explain it in those 2 videos. So looking forward to hear your feedback. Thanks for watching. If you need any help, check out my free masterclass and my program in case you want to work with me privately, in more detail. Talk to you soon. Bye, guys.